Her mentality is remarkable. She is not that tall of a player, around 5'6".
They said it was just another early round loss. Just another teenager learning the hard way on the biggest stages in tennis. But what nobody saw in that quiet walk back to the locker room in Paris was the beginning of something that would completely change the story of Alex Eala's season. Because that defeat on the clay of Roland Garros wasn't just a scoreline. It was a message. A brutal one. For 6-2-6. Against Eva Jovic. An 18-year-old American rising fast, already being whispered about as a future top 10 player. And in that moment, it looked like the gap between them was still clear. Still defined. Still predictable. But tennis doesn't stay predictable for long. Because just 11 days later, everything started to shift. London. Queen's Club. Grass underfoot. A surface that doesn't forgive hesitation. And suddenly, Alex Eala wasn't walking out of a defeat anymore. She was walking into something different. Something sharper. Something dangerous. She didn't just beat Zhang Shuai. She dismantled her. 6-3, 6-2. But the score doesn't tell you what really happened on that court. Because at one point in that match, something clicked. 12 consecutive service points won. Not spread out. Not lucky. Consecutive. On grass, where momentum doesn't just build, it explodes. And in that stretch, Eala didn't look like a player trying to find form. She looked like someone who had already found it, and was now refining it in real time. But here's where things get even more interesting. Because this wasn't just about one win. It was about what it represented. 11 days earlier in Paris, her return game was overwhelmed. 21 return points lost to 10 against Jovic. A clear structural weakness exposed on clay. But in London, that weakness didn't just improve. It disappeared at key moments. Returns came earlier. Serves came sharper. And most importantly, pressure stopped feeling like pressure. It started feeling like control. And that's where the conversation around this rematch begins to change. Because waiting on the other side of this sudden transformation is the same opponent who exposed her in Paris. Eva Jovic. Still 18. Still American. Still climbing. Still ranked around the top 20, sitting at world number 19. Still the player who has already beaten Eala twice in their short professional history. But those two wins came in a completely different world. Auckland was a walkover quarterfinal situation. Paris was a clay court tactical breakdown. Neither of those matches happened here. None of them happened on grass. And none of them happened while Eala was riding a 6-match winning streak on the surface. So now the question isn't about history anymore. It's about timing. Because timing in tennis changes everything. Jovic arrives with confidence built on dominance from Paris. But confidence built on clay doesn't always survive grass. Grass is faster. Shorter points. Less time to think. Less time to control. More pressure on every first ball after serve. And that's exactly where Eala has quietly transformed. Because what started in Birmingham wasn't just a title run. It was a pattern forming. Serve, then strike. Serve, then finish. Serve, then silence the rally before it even begins. And now that pattern is walking directly into the most important match of her season so far. A rematch that isn't just about revenge. It's about validation. Because beating Jovic on grass would mean something deeper than a scoreline. It would mean the Paris version of Alex Eala is no longer the current version. And Jovic knows this too. That's what makes this so tense. This isn't strangers meeting for the first time. This is familiarity under pressure. Two players who have practiced together. Shared courts. Shared respect. Shared silence after matches where one of them had to lose. But now there is no silence left. Only expectation. Only pressure. Only the sound of a stadium that is about to decide who has actually evolved faster. And Queen's Club is not a quiet stage anymore. Because something unusual is happening in the stands. A crowd that usually watches men's tennis during this week has started shifting its attention. And leading that shift is a wave of Filipino support that is impossible to ignore. They aren't just watching. They are following, traveling, building noise that spreads across courts like momentum itself. And when Eala steps onto court for this rematch, that noise won't just be background. It will be part of the match. But here's the real tension nobody can escape. Jovic is not just defending a record. She is defending control. Because every projection says she is a future top 10 player. And losses like this, against rising opponents, change those projections faster than rankings do. On the other side, Eala isn't just playing for revenge. She is playing for confirmation. That Birmingham wasn't a surprise. That her grass game isn't temporary. That her rise is not dependent on surface or draw or timing, but on something real. Something sustainable. And in between those two truths sits one match. One court. One moment where everything that has happened in the last 2 weeks either becomes a turning point or just another chapter. Because if Eala wins here, the story changes immediately. Paris becomes an outlier. Birmingham becomes a statement. And Wimbledon suddenly starts looking very different. But if Jovic wins again, then the pattern becomes undeniable. 3 meetings, 3 victories, and a psychological hold that no ranking can erase. And that is why this rematch feels heavier than the first 2 combined. Because now it carries history, momentum, expectation, and pressure from both sides of the net. And somewhere underneath all of that is friendship. Real friendship. The kind that doesn't disappear just because a draw says you have to stand on opposite sides. But friendship doesn't return balls. Friendship doesn't win break points. And friendship definitely doesn't survive 12 consecutive service points on grass when everything is on the line. So now the stage is set. London. 2 teenagers. 1 streak. 1 rivalry that is no longer developing, it is already here. And the only question left is simple. Who changes the story when it matters most? And then the day arrives. No build-up feels enough when you finally stand on the edge of something you've been waiting for since Paris. Queen's Club is different now. The air feels heavier even before the players step on court. Every seat is filled with a kind of anticipation that doesn't belong to a routine second-round match. Because this isn't routine anymore. This is a rematch that has been sitting inside the sport for 11 days, growing in silence. Alex Eala walks out first. No hesitation. No visible emotion. But something about her presence is different from Paris. She doesn't look like a player hoping to compete. She looks like a player expecting to answer something. And then Iva Jovic appears. Still calm. Still composed. Still carrying that quiet confidence of someone who has already beaten you twice before. But even confidence changes shape when the court changes surface. Grass doesn't lie. It either supports you or exposes you. The warm-up is short. Almost too short. Because both players already know what's coming. Jovic is thinking about control. Eala is thinking about timing. And when the first ball is finally tossed into the air, everything tightens. The match begins. First game. Jovic serves. Immediate pressure. First rally lasts barely 4 shots. And already, you can see her intention. Early returns. Flat contact. No rhythm allowed. And it works, for a moment. She holds. Quietly. Efficiently. But Eala walks to the baseline without reaction. No frustration. Just calculation. Her first service game arrives. And this is where everything feels different from Paris. First serve in. Second shot. Immediate aggression. Forehand winner attempt barely misses. But the intention is clear. No hesitation anymore. No waiting for rhythm. She is playing first strike tennis now. Jovic notices immediately. Because this is not the same player from Roland Garros. And that realization starts to shift the tone of the entire match. Games begin to trade. Hold for hold. But the patterns underneath are changing. Jovic is still winning return battles in short bursts. But she is not breaking through cleanly. Eala's serve is no longer just a setup. It is a weapon that forces hesitation. And hesitation is dangerous on grass. By the 5th game, something starts to build. Eala finds her rhythm on serve. Not power alone. Placement. Variation. And then the first real crack appears. A Jovic return lands slightly short. Not a mistake. Just half a step too safe. And Eala steps in immediately. Forehand down the line. Clean winner. First break point of the match arrives. The stadium shifts. Not loudly. but noticeably, because everyone understands what this moment means. If Jovic holds here, the pattern stays intact. If she doesn't, everything starts to tilt. Jovic serves. First serve misses. Second serve comes in. Eala steps forward. Return lands deep. Rally begins. For shots. And then Jovic goes for too much. The ball clips the net cord and falls back. Queen's club erupts. Not like a celebration. Like release. Because the story has finally cracked open. Eala doesn't celebrate much. Just a small nod. Like she expected this moment eventually. And maybe she did. But Jovic doesn't panic. That's the difference. She resets quickly. Too quickly. And immediately applies pressure in return games. Next service game for Eala becomes the test. And this is where Paris starts to feel distant. Because under pressure, Eala doesn't collapse. She adjusts. First serve. Second shot. Safe. Third shot. Controlled aggression. Fourth shot. Point one. It is not flashy, but it is stable. And stability against a top 20 returner is rare. Jovic pushes again later in the set. She gets break point. The exact kind that broke players in Paris. But this time, something else happens. Eala serves wide. Jovic returns deep. Rally builds. Longer this time. More tension. And then Eala does something she didn't do in Paris. She changes height. Lob-like defensive ball. Jovic smashes forward. And misses. The stadium gasps. Not because of the miss. But because of the idea. That Eala is now reading her. Not reacting. Reading. The set tightens again. But the break remains. 6-4. First set Eala. And suddenly, everything feels heavier for Jovic. Because now she is not chasing form. She is chasing a version of a player who no longer exists. Second set begins differently. Jovic increases aggression. Shortens points. Goes after second serves. And early on, it works. She breaks early. For the first time in the match, Eala is behind. And for a moment, Paris whispers back into the story. But only for a moment. Because what happens next is not emotional. It is structural. Eala stops trying to match aggression. She starts absorbing it. Returns get deeper. Serves get smarter. And rallies stop being exchanges of power and start becoming tests of patience. Jovic feels it. Every point starts lasting half a second longer than she wants. And that half second changes everything. At 3-3 in the second set, the turning point arrives. A long rally. 17 shots. Jovic dictating early. Eala defending. Then transitioning. Then attacking. Then finishing. The crowd rises before the ball is even struck. Because they can feel it shifting. Forehand cross court. Winner. And this time, Jovic reacts. Not loudly, but visibly. A small pause between points. A glance toward her box. The first sign that control is slipping. Eala serves for the match at 5-4. And this is where everything slows down. Not the match. The moment. First point, ace. Second point, error from Jovic. Third point, rally. Fourth point, long exchange. Fifth point, net cord. Match point, silence before the serve. Not absence of sound. Absence of certainty. Eala bounces the ball once. Twice. And serves. Out wide. Jovic stretches. Returns deep. Rally begins. 3 shots. 5 shots. 7 shots. And then it happens. Jovic goes for the line. Just a fraction too aggressive. Ball lands long. And for a second, nothing moves. Then the realization spreads. Not immediately. Not loudly. But fully. Alex Eala has done it. Not just beaten Eva Jovic. But changed the story between them. The handshake is quick. Respectful. But different now. Because something has shifted that cannot be reversed. Paris was control. London is response. And the response now belongs to Eala. As she walks off court, the crowd is still standing. Not because of surprise anymore, but because of recognition. That this wasn't just a win. It was a statement that arrived exactly when it needed to. And somewhere in the noise of Queen's Club, a new version of the rivalry quietly locks into place. Not finished, not settled, but undeniably different. Because now, when they meet again, and they will meet again, nobody will be thinking about Paris first. They will be thinking about this. The match where everything changed.